Hello everyone and welcome to the bottom 5 games of 2017. My name is the Slyfox Kynyo, but you can all just call me Kynyo. Keep an eye out after this video for the top 5 games of 2017 as well, because that video will be coming out shortly. I think an hour or two after this one. We'll see how it goes. Now, what can I say about some of these bottom 5 games? Some of them really aren't that bad. In fact, there was actually one that I had a really hard time deciding which video to put this in, the top 5 one or the bottom 5 one. But more on that one later. Just know that the games in this list are restricted to the games that I played on my channel this year. That does not mean they came out this year, simply that I had produced a video on them. And also keep in mind that being in the bottom 5 does not necessarily mean that I don't like the game. Big old air quotes around like. It simply means that it wasn't one of the best games this year. Okay? Alright, let's get this started. Number 5, Final Fantasy VIII, the Steam version. So this may or may not be surprising for those of you who have watched my videos this year, but I just couldn't get into Final Fantasy VIII, which is strange because I remember adoring this game. I absolutely adored it as a child, but as an adult, I just couldn't find myself to play it, to finish it. I had no love for this game. But again, that's the Steam version, not the actual game. And the game itself isn't bad by any means. Compared to what else I've seen this year, it's just not up to par. Now, I don't know if they're planning on remastering this game for the PS4 like they have with Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IX, but I couldn't see why they wouldn't be. And maybe a 30 frames per second 1080p remastering on a console port is actually what this game needs, not a PC port. Because again, playing games on a PC, playing games that you used to play with a controller, I should say, on a PC, it just feels weird. And I was still playing it with a controller, it didn't line up right. It didn't feel good, the control mapping felt off, like nothing felt right. So I just had a hard time getting into it. The game itself is still a work of art though, so maybe you should check out the original. Like, go out and see what it is, because Final Fantasy VIII is worth playing and the story is really good. It's just not great on the Steam version. Number 4, Destiny 2. Now, I had a really long time trying to decide if this was the 5th best game or the 5th worst game. Eventually, Final Fantasy VIII did beat it out and ended up as the 4th worst game this year. Now, before you go and start typing up a storm, let me explain. I full-heartedly love Destiny and the Destiny series, and Destiny 2 is just more of the same. So by extension, I really enjoy my time playing the game. However, that last sentence should be what's ringing alarm bells. It is just more of Destiny 1. Yeah, they made a minor tweak here and there, but the overall game is essentially the same. Just a copy-paste, they don't let you keep your old character in light level, which annoyed the hell out of me, and you move on with a new story. Now, that story is very good, and I enjoyed playing through it the first time, but I had to level up another character, and by the time I had to do that, I found myself bored and wanting to move on to something that I had not done before. The mechanics are fine, and the game is a fun play, but asking for another $60 US to play what could have been a large DLC for Destiny 1 just isn't doing this game any favors. The raid is fun though, so maybe check it out if you care. Number 3, Paladins. Now you might be saying, hey, Kynyo, I thought you really enjoyed Paladins, and I did, because I still play it, but the problem is it just never engrossed me the way that some of the other MOBAs that came out this year, or came out period, did or have. The game is fun, the characters are relatively unique, although there are a few that people have accused them of just taking from others. And it treads an interesting middle ground between League of Legends and Overwatch. But in trending that middle ground, it doesn't do either any favors, and it ends up looking like a weaker game because of it. It's much like when a younger sibling sees their older brother doing something and insists that they can do that same thing. But instead of a very well-written 10-page thesis on the validity of using certain calculations assumptions when estimating the distance of far objects, you end up with a macaroni glued on a piece of paper that just says stars. It's endearing in and of itself, but not what I'm looking for, especially not in a brand new, quote-unquote brand new game. Play it for the fun, don't play it because it's the next big MOBA, because in reality, you can do better. Number 2, Horizon Zero Dawn. I know. Don't start typing frantically yet. When I first started playing this game, I fully expected it to make Game of the Year. But as I played along, the missions became more and more repetitious, and I really did quickly lose interest. And I think that's the root of my issue with this game and other games like it, like some of the newer Grand Theft Autos. Yes, the story is intriguing, but not enough so to keep me involved when I have to kill my 1000th robotic dino tiger. And yes, Robot Dinosaurs is a tag that will get every preteen to pull on their family's pant leg and beg for a copy of this game, but that doesn't mean the idea is good enough to coast on alone. And yes, I'm aware there's a very deep and compelling story about Aloy and her origins, but the game just couldn't bring me to care enough to finish it. Overall game, it was fun, but just a resounding meh. Didn't really hit the points it needed to keep that Game of the Year title I thought it would have. And the number one, the worst game this year. The Last Guardian. And this was not a hard decision for me. The game looks amazing and has a really interesting premise, but the whole story aspect is lost by mediocre controls, an annoying tendency to not give you clear instruction, and a lack of ability to fully understand what progress actually means. I had no interest in finishing the game and was really bored for most of my time playing it. So overall, it was a lackluster AAA title. That big beast is pretty neat though. So that's it. I know I ruffled some feathers with that last one, but it's okay. Before you go and write up your comment dissertation about how wrong I am for not liking The Last Guardian, give it an hour and wait for the top 5 video to come out, because the top 5 video should be coming out very shortly. And then, after you've watched the top 5 video, go ahead and dislike or like and subscribe and comment on both of them and tell me what your opinions are. Because remember, these are just my opinions and they have no more value than yours. None whatsoever. You have every right to believe what you want to believe as far as any of these videos are concerned. These are just my opinions of the game I played. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And remember, through gaming, we can change the world. Slyfox out.